These type of public places belong to the gang members. Now they belong to the people. We always knew that the good people were always more than the bad people.
Just a few years ago, I would never have come to El Salvador. The country suffered because of the influence of gangs, and it was not safe. I'm told that this park was a place that even locals would dare not visit. San Salvador, not all that long ago, was the murder capital of the world, and number 2 on the list was not even close. Now though, this country has one of the lowest murder rates on the planet, and this is considered one of the safest locations in the Western Hemisphere. Let's take a look at this rejuvenated city. The center of San Salvador. For years, this was essentially off limits, a place that the good people of the city avoided.
We couldn't come to this park. For 5 years, I couldn't come to these parks. The different plazas, the whole San Salvador area, we were not allowed to come.
This was the domain of gang members. Robbery, extortion, and murder were rampant. In 2015, there were 103 homicides for every 100,000 people. As recently as 2022, over one weekend, there were 87 gang-related killings. Immediately after that, the government's crackdown on gangs went into overdrive. Today, tens of thousands of gang members are in prison, and the streets are almost unbelievably safe.
In the last 7 years, we have experienced this type of safety and secureness. I can bring my cell phone, and you can take your camera. Nobody's going to be snatching your camera off.
The transformation has been swift, and the people of the country give credit to the president, Nayib Bukele. Previously mayor of San Salvador, he became president in 2019. His approval rating in some polls exceeds 90%.
We were able to see all the changes that he did as a mayor, and then in 2019 he became the president. He did a great job for the last 5 years, and thanks to God, now we are experiencing this.
Outsiders have criticized Bukele's tactics, but Salvadorans love how he has changed their country. This is the center of San Salvador today. One of the most impressive structures is the National Library. It was inaugurated in November of 2023. Some say that marked a milestone on the transformation of the city and the country. Sometimes a library is more than just a library. I would argue that this is the pride of a nation, and an indication too as to how downtown San Salvador has changed. This building is open 24 hours a day. There are 7 floors within the library. It contains thousands of books, of course, but there are numerous other elements which serve to make this a gathering place. Technology abounds, artwork is everywhere, and many displays reference pop culture. This is said to be the first national library in the world that is open 24/7. China donated $54 million to help build this facility. The library sits to one side of the main plaza in downtown San Salvador. This huge square is named the Captain Gerardo Barrios Plaza. He was a military leader and president in the 19th century. A statue here memorializes him. This has been an open public space dating all the way back to 1566. In addition to the library, several other important structures surround the plaza. This is the Metropolitan Cathedral of the Holy Savior. It is described as having a modern look that incorporates Western and indigenous elements. This is not the first Roman Catholic edifice at this site. The original church at this location was completed in 1842. It was destroyed in an earthquake. The second building, that fell because of fire. The current structure, it was completed only in 1999. That construction, which ended in 1999, took decades. This sits on the northern edge of the plaza. It is free to take a look at the interior. There have been a couple of notable visitors through the years. Pope John Paul II came here twice, and American President Barack Obama also stopped during his 2011 trip to Latin America. On the western side of the plaza is the National Palace. This is called a living symbol of the political and cultural history of El Salvador. It once was the home of the 3 branches of government: the center of political power in the country through much of the 20th century. Now it contains a museum. The colorful building holds 101 rooms and 4 main halls. It has filled this space since the early 1900s. In the corner of the park between the National Palace and the National Library are the El Salvador letters. Come here for those social media images. When I was there, San Salvador was dressed up for the Christmas holiday. A wide majority of Salvadorans are Catholics and Protestants, representing nearly 80% of the population. Religious or not, visitors should check out the Iglesia El Rosario. This church sits just a short distance from the main plaza. This could be the most beautiful church that I've ever seen. Understandably, your reaction is, there is no way. I'll admit, the exterior is a bit underwhelming, but look at the inside. It truly is unlike any church you've ever seen. Stained glass covers each end of the arched ceiling to dramatic effect. When the sun is shining, the panels bathe the interior in rainbow-colored hues. I spent 20 to 30 minutes inside and marveled the entire time at the beauty created by the effect. Obviously, some people enter the space to pray and worship, but the majority are others drawn by the unique interplay of light and glass. In my time there, several tour groups passed through to view the spectacle. I had seen photos, so I knew what to expect. Someone walking in without prior knowledge would certainly be in awe. What a contrast between the gorgeous sanctuary and the brutalist concrete exterior. I paid around $2 to go inside. I grabbed a drink just a block or so from the main plaza. It was at Alpha Coffee Shop. All of the coffee served here is sourced right in El Salvador. That probably doesn't mean a whole lot when you get an iced vanilla latte, but if you're an aficionado, this is where to come for your coffee. As in many Latin American cities, coffee culture is strong and continuing to grow with each passing day. A brief walk from the primary square is San Salvador Central Market. This is a sprawling complex with numerous touch points where you will enter for the first time. Similar to many other mercados that I have visited, this is a location to find just about anything that you need. I saw the usual fruits and vegetables, prepared foods, textiles, and much more. Even though I wandered for a good half hour, I'm sure that I didn't even see half of it. It's one of those markets where you can wander and get lost amongst the stalls. It's never bad though, because you can always find your way out, and the discoveries you make along the way are priceless. Back in the dark days, this was considered one of the most dangerous spots in the world's most dangerous city. I felt totally safe on my visit. A new modern market is now open just outside of the center, but I never made it there to see the difference. One of the most impressive pieces of architecture in the center houses the National Theater. This was dedicated in 1917. It combines styles such as French Renaissance, Rococo, and Art Nouveau. This serves as a cultural center for the city, with performing arts a key part of its programming. The theater sits on the southern edge of this plaza. It contains a statue of Francisco Morazan. He was a 19th century leader who pushed for a unified Central America and sought to make San Salvador its capital. His plan was never realized, as he was executed in 1842. Only about a block to the east from the main plaza is the point from where the city began expanding outwards. Today it is known as Plaza Libertad. It commemorates an independent Central America and was dedicated in 1911. At its center is a statue of an angel, symbolizing freedom. Another small park near the center is Parque San Jose. The origin of this public space dates back to the 16th century. It is known for the restored colonial church facade. Maybe not as green and fresh as the other nearby plazas, this is still an important piece of the city's history. Close to the center is the Universidad Tecnológica. It was established in 1980 and is a private university offering bachelor's and master's degrees. Education is key for El Salvador to maximize its potential. Similarly, a new medical school is taking shape near the center. It's the former Hospital El Salvador, which was hastily constructed in 2020 for the sole purpose of treating COVID patients. This is a good time to point out that San Salvador is seeing a massive amount of construction. Much of it is related to infrastructure improvements.
There is so much infrastructure work taking place in the center of the city. I am here in December of 2025, and it is hard to get from one place to another because you'll go on the direction that Google Maps tells you to, and the streets will be closed off. You have to reroute.
There are high hopes for the economic future of El Salvador. A couple of interesting notes. The official currency of the country is the US dollar, and Bitcoin is recognized as legal tender. When walking through San Salvador, it's fairly easy to find a place for authentic tastes. Pupusas are everywhere. They are thick griddle cakes stuffed with any number of ingredients. In 2005, they were declared El Salvador's national dish. One day I stopped into this place for a bite. I ordered tortas de papas, which are potato cakes. They came with a cucumber salad. There are a wide variety of restaurants all around the city, everything from high-end sit-down places to street stalls. It's fun to find your own place. All you have to do is enter Salvadoran food near me into Google Maps and you'll have scores of options. Everywhere has food options that will be familiar to you, but make sure to try local flavors as much as you can. A little farther from the city center to the northwest is the Civic Center Cultural Complex. There are also some government buildings at this site. This was developed in the 20th century. It's all designed to showcase the democratic values of the country. On the walls of the complex is artwork. It depicts some of the history of El Salvador and is dedicated to praise of the Constitution. There are a dozen or more panels. Street art does have a place within San Salvador. There's a scene that is pretty thriving. Much of the work is political in nature, with themes of social justice and indigenous rights. A little farther outside of the center to the west is this feature. It's the Monument to the Divine Savior of the World. This features a statue of Jesus with outstretched arms. It stands 59 feet tall and was built in 1942. The piece is considered a national icon and reflects the Christian influence within the country. Easily within walking distance to the center is Parque Cuscatlan. Many consider this the breathing heart of San Salvador. It is 18 acres of green space with a variety of components that allow it to appeal to many people. Possibly my favorite facet was this art display. Numerous pieces lined the northern edge of the park. It looked to be primarily, if not exclusively, Salvadoran artists. I've mentioned the recent problems with gangs numerous times. Before that, however, there was the Civil War. There are monuments here to its victims. Fighting between the government and rebel groups lasted for 12 years, beginning in 1980. An estimated 75,000 individuals died in the conflict, and thousands more simply disappeared. Aside from that somber note, the park is a happy place. Families and friends join together to relish being outside and take advantage of all that the park provides. This is where I joined a walking tour of the center that was led by Dave, the guy you heard from earlier. We explored this place and much more of the core of San Salvador. In one delightful aspect, we stopped by several restaurants and street food stands to get to know some of the most popular dishes in the country. Dave expresses great optimism for where his country is headed. With so much heartache and pain in the past, it is encouraging to see that so many believe the future will be much brighter.
We have made the proper changes already, so we are on the process of becoming the next Singapore in America.
There is trust in President Bukele. He is in the early stages of his second term, and the people here like what they are seeing.
Bukele said, give me the first 5 years, I will bring security, safetiness with God's help. Give me the second 5 years and we will have an economic growth like never before.
I will leave a link to the free walking tour that I took with Dave in the description.
There have been many dark days in the past here in San Salvador, but the turnaround has been remarkable. I have asked if there are still places within the city where a person shouldn't go, and incredibly, the answer has always been no. It seems like safety here is universal. The city center is interesting and historic, but there's another area that will absolutely floor you. Zona Rosa and its surrounding neighborhoods are modern and vibrant and full of places that you'll want to see. I'll have that for you next time here on Old, Alone, and Far From Home.